Hey guys, welcome to Elite Rounders Game Theory section of the YouTube channel. Today I felt like just going over one spot with PokerSnowy for fun. First of all, we are playing 6 max, 100 big blinds deep with 10% ante. So what sort of range should we open under the gun? Under the gun is 6 max table. We could use like min raise with this sort of range. Again, some 68% raise, fold other times, 9-8 suited, as you see here. And we could use 2.5x. I think that's what I would start with here. So we can use the 2.5x to start with. And in this situation, we're going to have button call us. So what sort of range button could be calling here? 3s plus basically, some 5-4 suited. You know, I'm actually so surprised Snowy even folds 8-7 suited, but it is against 2.5x. Again, you do see difference, like we are calling like tighter range versus like bigger openings, so makes sense. Calling versus big openings is not going to be, calling versus tight opening range is not going to be very profitable unless you think they make a lot of mistakes. But of course, PokerSnowy doesn't take that into account, because they all play similarly, right? So again, I guess a lot of the time, like the question is like 10-9-8 board. A lot of people, especially recreationals, like if they are here in this position with aces, for example, I see a lot of times like big sizing tells here, like they pot it or something. So this is usually pretty good implied odds spots for the button. If you have any sort of throw, it's gonna be kind of nice to even throw to it, because like you're probably gonna get paid, especially if it's a recreational player and you hit your throw. So if you see somebody c-betting here pot, I'm probably pretty much calling everything unless I have a hand and then I actually raise. So it's kind of foolish situation, especially recreationals tend to show their hand strength. And usually this is not top set. Usually this is not even 9s. Maybe it could be set of 8s. You know, they actually need protection and there's a lot of value. So betting this big size with 8s could make sense, you know, in a way. But again, what I wanted to find out here is what would Snowy do here. And as you see here, evaluation with 25% betting, we should just check aces. And with pot size, so basically half pot would be the best with aces if you want to bet, as you can see here. Snowy would say half pot would be the best with aces. But we can look at the whole range. So basically what Snowy would recommend here is 25% betting, which makes sense again, because what's the problem with aces on this board? It's kind of like, can you really get value 3 streets, like betting huge? Probably not. It's mostly going to be like 2 street value, really. And then maybe river, you can check call if the river is total brick. Like if the turn is brick and the river is brick, it's a pretty good spot to check call, for example, because the villain could still have a lot of throws, but he has also a lot of slow played straights, 2 pairs, or he hit 2 pairs, yada yada. So it's not that nice spot to actually go 3 streets, like huge value, unless you think the guy is very sticky and he's just overplaying every hand. Of course, in that case, go for it. So basically, PokerSnowy would recommend here like small sizing, checking 65%, betting 35%. So what sort of hands should we bet here? So 2 pairs, 10-9, 10-8, 9-8, ace-10. Again, we just bet small on this board. Like ace-10, again, if the flop was 10-8 deuce, this would be probably flop we should bet big with ace-10, right? For the protection and value, there's so much value to bet big, just for the villain to fold. But this board is so dynamic that, actually, yeah, it's kind of flop that you need to see turn to determine if you want to put more money in the pot. So that's why we want to bet small. So if we bet small on flop, we can like bomb the turn, like bet huge on turn if it's good turn. So let's say we bet 25%. What should villain fold here? Pretty much nothing, just 5s, 4-3s, 5-4. So first of all, I think versus standard population, normal population, they might overfold here. Let's look at some hands. So versus this size, you probably see some overfolding, I assume. I think people are going to fold more than 11%. So ace queen, they definitely call. King queen, they definitely call. King 10. I don't see too many folds. But they should be calling like even 3s, 4s, 5, 4 of hearts. Yeah, that makes sense. 5s with heart. I think they might drop some of these 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s. They could definitely drop some of those, I feel like. Which they should be calling. And then I don't really see any ace-x actually here. There's not too many suited. For example, I think population still flats pre-flop every suited ace, or they 3-bet, so they should still have like ace deuce to ace 6 they might fold. Ace 6 they might call versus this size. But ace deuce to ace 5 they definitely fold. So there might be more folds from population than they should have really versus this bet size. So let's say he calls. So if the turn is deuce, so okay, it's like the best card for us. So again, now on this turn, because the board changed good for us, we actually betting, we could use pot size. Snowy recommends pot size. So we would especially use big size with queens. Ace 10, we are betting huge now for protection. Even queen 10, even jack 10. So ace king, even, ace queen, ace jack with hearts. Ace jack, we bet huge. Ace 7, ace 7, ace 6, ace 5, ace 4, ace 3. So as you see, like there's a lot of draws, we are betting huge. But like again, so flop we bet small. Basically you want to see the turn if you want to commit way more money. And you just bet pot and you get called. And let's say river is totally bricks out. So now the villain range should still have quite a bit of like bluffs. So Snowy, for example, would just check here most of the time. Bet very small frequency and just mostly if you want to bet you should use pot size, but then the bet should be done with very strong hands like pocket tens, like top set here. The board is this, sorry, I'll just move this, maybe it's better. So pocket tens, pocket nines, pocket eights, 10-9, 10-8. Depending on V-line, you should probably consider like if they're more like tricky player, like floating you, maybe too high frequency, then you should probably check. If you feel like they're just calling station, just bet your top range for sure. Even aces, I would probably just bet. And especially if they're more passive type, they're probably not going to bluff all their combos. And they are really bad making tin value bets. So, although I don't expect I don't exactly know if people would even bet here ace 10, especially after you pot the turn. It's possible that they might just check back. Maybe ace 10 they bet, but jack 10 they would definitely check back. I feel like queen 10, even king 10, I think. So I don't expect people to bet those. So it's not really a spot where the villain would go for tin value, I think. They're just so happy to check back. So it's mostly going to be, if he bets, it's going to be like two pairs, slow plates, straights, sets. That's about it for value, and maybe the top pair, top kicker type of thing, and some over pairs, I guess he could have jacks or queens or kings, aces now and then. So those would be his value combos here. So I think he still has like potentially he could still have any jack X, any heart. So there's quite a lot of bluff combos compared to his value. So I think it's a pretty good spot to check actually. So. But again, depending on a little bit the villain, make your decision. But I thought it was kind of interesting. But I feel like this is where a lot of recreationals go wrong. They just bet huge on flop. Instead, like just betting small on flop and then betting big on turn when you have a good card to bet. I think that makes more sense because you don't really want to put 100 big blinds on 10-9-8 with aces. So you're building like way too big pot. So there's a lot of value in putting small bet because first of all, the villain is probably going to overfold to that. And then you protect your hand with the small bet. You don't need to protect always your range with a huge, massive bet. Poker, we can use smaller bets too. And if the turn or river is good, we can bang, make a big bet. If the river is good. If it's bad, then we check, right? So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. This is a usually kind of tricky spot for a lot of people, so I hope it helped.